Hey everybody, Professor Snart here checking in. It's Friday, so we've just had the due date for Unit 6, I believe it was, which had you finding secondary sources. Again, one of those units that's actually fairly simple to complete. It's not really complicated and not really time-consuming, but is one of those building blocks that we've been putting together in preparation for the more labor-intensive, I guess, or a little more involved assignments that really form the bulk of the grade for the class. So we've been really leading up to the unit that we're currently now in, Unit 7, which is our first essay assignment. And actually I might have sort of misspoke in my previous video announcement suggesting that this first essay would require a secondary source, which is not the case. It will eventually, actually, the next essay is a revision of the first essay that involves integrating a secondary source. So in fact, for this first essay, it's just an analysis of the primary text that you choose, which is like a short story in this case. So we're really now into the major kind of work for the course. And I'm just going to click myself into Unit 7. Actually, the due dates then, so it's useful to note, the due date, which would maybe normally in our rotation be Monday, we actually have a week to work on this first essay, Thursday, February 10th. So I think one of the things that I have in the unit itself is a reminder to use the time, the extra time, wisely to make use of it and don't just put things off longer since we have a little extra time. So, like I've suggested before, this first essay is really the first opportunity to show me in a really clear and kind of black or white sort of way. It's not a subjective, my opinion or your opinion. It really is objective. Does this student show evidence in this essay of having understood the concepts we've talked about to this point and understood the basics of MLA formatting for in-text citation, which is very simple this time around since you're just quoting from a short story from the book. And of course, you're putting together a works cited page with one entry, pretty simple. I'm even going to provide a link here in my announcement for exactly what example to follow that's provided on the COD library website in the citing sources area, which is really kind of our Bible for getting the work cited correct in terms of examples to follow and models to follow. So I can't say this more clearly at this point. An essay that I get from you now, even though it's a first essay, it's still reflecting a lot of work that we've done. If it's completely inappropriate as far as tone, like it's very conversational or there's the I voice in it, just a lot of unnecessary kind of extra words like that, that really shows me that you haven't paid attention to what's gone on in what's almost half of the course so far. Same thing with the ideas of shape of a paragraph. Do you get presenting a thesis in the introduction, following that with clear kind of topic sentences that are related, providing details in the body paragraphs? Again, if you want clarification or have questions about that, I'm happy to answer specific questions. Obviously, you can return to any of the units and look at examples and some of the visual stuff that's provided. And then, of course, the MLA stuff. It just doesn't get more kind of cut and dried. Is it correct or is it not correct? So if you're not getting that stuff correct or showing me in the essay that you understand that, obviously the grade is going to reflect that. So if there are MLA errors, and I mean major errors throughout, not just one little typo, if you forget the works cited, if there's no quotation from the text, if the tone of the essay is completely kind of wrong for the kind of writing that we're doing, if, what else can go wrong? I mean, it's hard to predict these things, of course, but really it's just a matter of showing me up to this point you've got the concepts that we've covered. And if they're not there, then again, you're looking at best a C and probably a failing grade. And so I'll return to that analogy I used a while back. In a math class or a history class where you've learned a fact, you get a test on that fact and you sort of fill in the blank or whatever the case might be, and it's either right or wrong. There's no sort of, well, it's kind of correct. You're within a decade. That doesn't really help if it's the date of a presidency or something like that. Same thing for a lot of the stuff we're looking at here. That works cited page, the MLA citation, that's either correct or it's incorrect, and the grade reflects that. It's not, well, yeah, it's kind of correct. We're not interested in kind of correct at this point. And especially once we get into the next essay and then the final essay, the big point value for this course, that stuff absolutely has to be correct if you're looking for a grade to reflect, that you get the concepts and the ideas that we've discussed so far. Okay, this is getting very, I'm scaring myself at this point. So, I guess the glass half full version of all of this is that you don't have to be the best writer on the planet. No one would expect that in English 1102 to get a good grade. You really just have to have understood the concepts and shown me in the essay that you understand to get a good grade. So yes, there's artificially heightened importance on something like a works cited page, but that means if you do it right, then you're way ahead of the game as far as the grade. So you can have other maybe stylistic issues going on in your paper and still show me that you're getting the concepts that we've covered. So again, you don't have to be this perfect essayist to get a good grade because of the way that things are weighted and the kind of things that we're looking for in terms of the essay as an assessment of what we've covered in the class. So you can kind of make that our focus work in your favor as opposed to it being a liability. It's a good way to think about it. So anyway, that's a lot to absorb, I'm sure, just coming back from, I've never actually shoveled snow like at eye level before. I don't know if anyone had the pleasure of doing that, but that's what I spent most of my Wednesday, the entirety of it, doing, is shoveling my driveway. So anyway, back to the comfort of my office here at COD. So hopefully everyone's okay after the big storm, and we're getting into Unit 7, our first writing assignment for the class. So again, any questions or concerns, just be in touch with me, and I'm happy to address, specific questions or just general, again, concerns that you might have. And don't be afraid to be in touch. I'm more than happy to talk with you.